ka sana. Ang panahong hinihintay natin ay eto na. Huwag kang matakot, huwag kang mangamba, pagkat nandito siya upang tulungan ng mga tulad nating sawa na sa puro pangakong napako. Alam ko na siya ay tapat, may malasakit sa
aha! Yes, man! Sara all!
Sara all, kami din mintanan. Di kan sa Davao, siya ang number one. Sara all, abanti tatanan. Ang kaayuan ni padayon niya tanan. Sara all, Sara all.
Aha! People, ani anak karon. People, karon na ang panahon. People, Inday Sara pa kay mulupad na ang agila. Sige, ipadayon na to ang suporta. Dagan ang nag-apan ni Mayor Inday Sara. Kinasing-kasing nga mong isyagit. Duterte Rami Inday Sara ang isinggit.
Sara all, kami din mintanan. Di kan sa Davao, siya ang number one.
Yes, man!
Sara all, abanti tatanan. Ang kaayuan ni padayon niya tanan. Sara all, Sara all, kami din mintanan. Di kan sa Davao, siya ang number
Yes, man!
one. Sara all, abanti tatanan. Ang kaayuan ni padayon niya tanan. Sara all. Don G, halika na't sumama. Tayo'y mag-aisa. Dito na tayo. Oh, oh, oh. Sara all, kaming lahat. Sara all, ito'y tapat. Luzon, Visayas, halika na. Kasi ang Mindanao ay nandito na. Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao.
Pangalan niya ating isigaw. Pag-ibig ang mangingibabaw.
Simula pa lang noon talagang Duterte na kami hanggang ngayon. Sara Duterte, Carlo, pangalan mo sinisigaw ng Pilipino. Sa iyong pagtapo kami nakasuporta. Sara all ang lahat para masaya. Sara all.
Nandito na ang agila. Lilipad na magkaisa.
Sara all, kami din mintanan. Di kan sa Davao, siya ang number one. Sara all, abanti tatanan. Ang kaayuan ni padayon niya tanan. Sara all, kami din mintanan. Di kan sa Davao, siya ang number one. Sara all, abanti tatanan. Ang kaayuan ni padayon niya tanan. Sara all.
May bagong pag-asa ng nadarama, may bagong sigla tayong nakikita, pumapagaspas sa hangin. Dala-dala rin ng alon, lilipad tayo, lilipad tayo.
Ipagpapatuloy ang pagbabago, itataguyod ang bawat Pilipino. Sa kanyang talino, aahon tayo.
Lilipad na ang agila, magtatanggol, magmamahal sa ating bansa. Lilipad na ang agila, at bagong araw at pag-asa kanyang dala.
Sa kanyang mga pakpak, kasama tayo sa paglipad. Sa taglay niyang lakas, hindi tayo magtiwala. Pagbabago ay itutuloy niya. Lilipad na ang agila. Pagbabago ay itutuloy niya.
Dapat pantay-pantay ang lahat. Walang kasarian, edad o relihiyon. Walang mahirap, walang mayaman. Ang kailangan ng bansa, pagkakaisa ng bayan, disiplinadong mamamayan, tuloy-tuloy na kaunlaran.
Tunay, love you! Huwag ka mag-alala, number one kita!
Siya'y isang simpleng tao, aking napatunayan. Mapagpakumbaba sa madla at maging sa kaibigan. Siya ay idolo ng marami, matanda at kabataan. Idolo ng inyong lingkod at tunay kong hinahangaan. At ngayong nakita ko na ang tunay na agila sa buong Pilipinas, siya'y aking ipapakilala. Eto na, Inday Sara, here she comes. Duterte! Eto na, Inday Sara, here she comes. Duterte! Di tayo pababayaan, bayan ay aalagaan. Eto na, Inday Sara, here she comes. Duterte! Eto na, Inday Sara, here she comes. Eto na, Inday Sara, here she comes. Duterte! Di tayo pababayaan, bayan ay aalagaan. Eto na, Inday Sara, here she comes. Duterte!
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh sa mga kapatid nating Muslim. Mayong buntag at magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Welcome po dito sa Sara All For You. Sa ngalan ni Mayor Sara Duterte, ako po ang inyong lingkod, Tek Ocampo, live mula rito sa Davao City. Dito sa Sara All For You, patuloy nating tunghayaan ang iba't ibang usapin at mga kaganapan. Balikan natin ang mga ginanap na campaign sorties ng Unity nitong weekend. Pakinggan din natin ang testimonya ng ating mga volunteer artists for Sara. At syempre, sa segment na Inday ng Buhay Ko, maririnig natin ang kwento ng taong nakasama ni Mayor Sara Duterte at kung gaano naging mahalaga sa kanyang buhay ang alkalde. Abangan po natin yan. Ngayong 3 linggo na lang, bago ang eleksyon, mas puspusan ng pangangampanya ng Uniteam. Kagabi ay nasa Taguig City sa Metro Manila ang Uniteam sa pangunguna ni Apo Bongbong Marcos at Mayor Sara Duterte. Dinagsa ng mga supporters ang Grand Rally sa Taguig City kung saan kasama rin ng Uniteam ang mga senatorial candidates. Muling ipinahayag ng alkalde ang 3 main agenda ng Uniteam para sa bansa. Una na rito ang trabaho matapos marami ang nawalan nito dahil sa pandemya. Pangalawa, ang dekalidad na edukasyon para sa mga Pilipinong mag-aaral. At pangatlo, ang pagsusulong ng isang mapayapang pamumuhay sa bansa. Muli ring iginiit ni Mayor Sara Duterte kung bakit si Apo Bongbong Marcos ang dapat nating iboto bilang Pangulo. At ipinagmalaki rin ng alkalde ang tagumpay ng Davao City bilang 4th most competitive city sa bansa. Sa nalalapit na eleksyon, nagpaalala rin si Mayor Sara Duterte sa lahat ng mga botante na mahalagang malaman natin ang wastong pagsusulat at pag-shade sa balota sa araw ng eleksyon.
Napakahalaga ng ating kodigo, sample ballot sa araw ng halalan dahil napakarami ng pangalan na 12 na kailangan natin ialala. Maraming salamat. Mahal ko kayo. Mahalin natin ang Pilipinas.
Isa rin sa binisita ni Mayor Sara Duterte ang lungsod ng San Pedro sa probinsya ng Laguna, kung saan nagsagawa ito ng house-to-house campaign. Narito ang highlights ng nasabing aktibidad kasama si Mayoralty Candidate Art Mercado ng City of San Pedro.
Kapag kami ang pinili ninyo na mga leaders sa May 9, 2022, ay dadalhin namin ang buong sambayanan ng wala pong kulay ng politika. Hindi po kami green, hindi kami red, hindi kami orange, hindi kami blue, hindi kami pink, hindi kami yellow. Isa lang po ang kulay nating lahat. Ang kulay po ng magiting at masipag na mga Pilipino.
Mayor po!
Simulan na po natin ang bagong kabanata sa pamumuno po ng bagong henerasyon, bagong dugo na magbibigay po sa atin ng bagong kasaysayan at bagong pag-asa sa bayan ng San Pedro. Yan po ang Bando Mercado Olivares.
Mabuhay ang San Pedro! Mabuhay ang Pilipinas!
Ang susunod na Vice Presidente ng Republika ng Pilipinas, palakpakan po natin, Inday Sara Duterte!
Unang-una po ang pagpapasalamat ko sa ating candidate pagka-mayor, Art Mercado, at sa ating Vice Mayor Olivares, at sa kanila pong mga konsihal. Nagpapasalamat po ako sa kanila dahil tinulungan nila kami na mabuo yung pagsama-sama natin ngayong hapon na ito dito sa bayan ng San Pedro. Dala-dala ko po lagi ang turo ng aking mga magulang sa aking pagsisilbi sa ating bayan. Na sa aking pagtatrabaho, pantay-pantay po ang lahat. Walang mayaman, walang mahirap. Pare-pareho po lahat Pilipino. Ipaintindi at ikampanya at gawin nating lahat sa Pilipinas. Pagkakaisa po at kapayapaan. Pagkakaisa ng sambayanan at kapayapaan ng ating bayan.
Inday Sara
Muli mula sa lungsod ng San Pedro, tayo po ay nagpapasalamat sa Agila ng Davao at susunod na Vice Presidente ng Republika ng Pilipinas.
Mahal ko kayo, mahalin din natin ang Pilipinas. Mabuhay ang San Pedro!
Bago po tayo mag-break, shout out po muna sa mga support groups ni Mayor Sara Duterte. Isda o kay Inday Sara Duterte ako, Super Inday o Islap, kay Inday Sara Lilipad ang Pilipinas, at Youth for Inday Sara Duterte.
Ang turo ng aking mga magulang sa aking pagtatrabaho, dapat pantay-pantay ang lahat. Walang kasarian, edad o relihiyon. Walang mahirap, walang mayaman. Ang kailangan natin, trabaho, edukasyon, mapayapang pamumuhay. Ang kailangan ng bansa, pagkakaisa ng bayan, disiplinadong mamamayan, tuloy-tuloy na kaunlaran. Ako si Inday Sara Duterte. Matibay ang puso na maglilingkod para sa mga Pilipino, para sa Pilipinas. Mahalin natin ang Pilipinas.
Sa simpleng pagpindot ng iyong cellphone, maaari lang may pahayag ang iyong pagsuporta sa Uniteam at ituloy ang pagbabago movement. Unang gawin ay pumunta sa www.ipm2022.ph. Upang maging opisyal na miyembro ng Uniteam at IPM, itap ang Register as a Supporter. Kompletuhin ang mga kinakailangang importanteng detalye ng supporter registration form, gaya ng iyong pangalan, middle name at apelyido, kasarian, edad at ang iyong mobile number. Kung ikaw ay isang overseas Filipino worker, piliin ang yes at ilagay kung saang bansa ka nakatira. Kung ikaw naman ay nandito sa Pilipinas, ilagay ang rehiyon, probinsya, lungsod o munisipalidad at kung saang barangay ka nakatira. Kinakailangan rin ang iyong kompletong address. Paalala, huwag gumamit ng pagdadaglat o abbreviation. Sunod ay piliin ang kategorya na iyong kinabibilangan. Pumili rin ang sektor na iyong kinabibilangan. Siguraduhin tama ang iyong ibinigay na impormasyon bago pindutin ang save button. Pagkatapos pindutin ang save button, lalabas sa screen ang iyong official ID. Nagpapatunay na ikaw ay isang official supporter ng Uniteam at ituloy ang pagbabagong movement. Paalala, hindi na maaaring bumalik sa nakaraang page kung nariyan na ang iyong official ID. Agad na pindutin ang save button bago ito mawala. Kung sakaling mayroong mga katanungan, maaaring message ang ituloy ang pagbabago Facebook page at agad namin itong sasagutin.
Lilipad na ang agila at bagong araw at pag-asa kanyang dala sa kanyang mga pakpak. Kasama tayo sa paglipad, sa kanyang puso ay bibigay tayo.
Inday Sara, sa'yo lang umaasa.
Welcome back sa Sara All For You at shoutout po muna sa mga grupong sumusuporta kay Mayor Sara Duterte. Sara All, Isip Pilipinas o Inday Sara, ikalawang Pangulo ng Pilipinas. Solid Inday Sara o SIS at Sara tayo.
Inday Sara, ikaw ang agila.
Patuloy ang suporta na binibigay ng mga volunteer artists sa kandidatura ni Mayor Sara Duterte bilang Vice Presidente. Ngayong araw ay pakinggan natin ang testimonya ng TV and film actor na si Andrew Schimmer at host and creative executive na si Kat De Castro. Dito lamang yan sa Artist for Sara.
Sa totoo lang, ang nagustuhan ko po sa kanya yung puso. Totoong tao. Kasi marami ng matalino marami ng magaling. Marami ng matapang. Actually, minsan pag masyadong matalino, masyadong magaling, yung pa yung nagiging problema natin. Parang this time, ang kailangan natin yung may puso. Yung totoong tao. For me, nakita ko po yung kay Ate Inday Sara. Gusto kong magising ang tao sa katotohanan. Kasi marami sa ating mga Pilipino, tulog. Tulog tayo sa maling history. Tulog tayo kasi sa kasinungalingan. Actually, I'm sorry for that term. But we are in very deep slumber. So, tumutulong lang ako to wake them up. Kasi it's about time. It's about time na magising po tayo sa katotohanan na, alam mo yun, magising tayo sa kasinungalingan. Yung challenges lang kasi andyan po talaga yung mga, syempre yung mga bashers, hindi po mawawala yan. Ang point ko lang, kung nagsasabi ka ng totoo, hindi ka dapat matakot. Kung totoo at nasa puso mo yung sinasabi mo tsaka pinaglalaban mo, go for it. Haters will hate. It's given. It's okay. Let them be. Ang mahalaga yung pinaglalaban mo, yung alam mong tama. And for me, that's good enough. And it's worth it. It's worth fighting for. Sa panahon ngayon, yun ang kailangan ng Pilipino. Unity. Unity. Pagkakaisa.
The thing with Mayor Inday Sara kasi, I always look at her as a person na talagang she has all the qualities I look for in a leader. She's very warm, she's very compassionate, and she's very, very intelligent. And si Sara kasi, when you look at her, what you see is what you get. Hindi siya plastic. Kumbaga, kung may gusto siyang sabihin sa'yo, sasabihin niya yon. And then at the same time, kung meron ka rin kailangan sa kanya, pinakikinggan ka niya. Despite of the fact that she's really, really intelligent, she also listens to what other people has to say. Bihira yun sa isang leader eh. Marami kasi tayo mga leaders ngayon na, dahil leader ako lang dapat ang, ako lang dapat ang masunod. But with her, she really talks to so many people. And at the same time, I also see her as a warrior. Yan, importante sa akin na kaya ako ipaglaban ng leader ko. And I see that in Mayor Inday Sara Duterte.
Ako po si Direk Niel de Mesa ng Artist for Sara. Kung ikaw ay isang Pilipino na tunay na sumusuporta kay Mayor Inday Sara Duterte at sa tambalang BBM Sara, Hinahayag mo ito sa iyong social media accounts o nagsishare ng mga posts tungkol sa Uniteam. At syempre, ikaw ay isang malikhaing alagad ng sining. Maaring ikaw ay isang musiko, aktor, mga awit, kompositor, taga-teatro, mananayaw, designer, graphic artist, live performer, filmmaker, manunulat, DJ, o di kaya ay nasa larangan ng multimedia at creative arts. Maaari mo nang sabihin ikaw ay isang artist for Sara. Isa sa adhikain ni Mayor Sara ang pagkakapantay-pantay ng lahat ng mga Pilipino. Walang mayaman, walang mahirap, walang kasarian, walang relihiyon. Sa makatuwid, walang sikat at hindi sikat. Ang boses mo at ang iyong suporta ay mahalaga, lalo na sa larangan ng sining. Isang larangan na nais pag-ibayuhin ni Mayor Sara Duterte at suportahan sa paparating niyang termino. Kung nais mong makibahagi sa mga activities or events para sa tambalang BBM Sara, mag-email lang ng inyong contact details sa artistsforsara@gmail.com. Daghang salamat at mahalin natin ang Pilipinas. Syukran.
Assalamualaikum, madayaw umayong adlaw kaninyong tanan. Maraming salamat sa mga kasapi ng Artists for Sara para sa inyong suporta sa aking mithiin na maging pangalawang pangulo ng ating bansa. Nakakataba ito ng puso at dagdag inspirasyon at lakas ng loob para sa akin. Sama-sama po tayong isulong ang isang mapayapa at maunlad na pamumuhay para sa bawat Pilipino. Mahalin natin ang Pilipinas. Syukran. Ang turo ng aking mga magulang sa aking pagtatrabaho, dapat pantay-pantay ang lahat. Walang kasarian, edad o relihiyon. Walang mahirap, walang mayaman. Ang kailangan natin, trabaho, edukasyon, mapayapang pamumuhay. Ang kailangan ng bansa, pagkakaisa ng bayan, disiplinadong mamamayan, tuloy-tuloy na kaunlaran. Ako si Inday Sara Duterte. Matibay ang puso na maglilingkod para sa mga Pilipino, para sa Pilipinas. Mahalin natin ang Pilipinas.
Ba't ka sumali dyan? Ipanlalaki yan. Yun talaga yung mga naririnig ko that time eh.
Ako po ay galing sa mahirap na pamilya. Tuloy pa rin ang buhay, lumalaban pa rin ako.
Kaya nga ang ginawa ko, talagang nagsumikap ako sa lahat ng paraan na pwedeng mabuhay kami.
Fulfilling. Kasi parang dugot pawis po yung pinagdaanan namin during training.
Lahat ng mga leader ng LGBT mag-meeting kasi mayroon daw ibigay na programa ang gobyerno tulad ng mga livelihood.
The world will be a better place if objective po yung kagandahan.
Ang kagandahan sa akin, it's for everybody.
Maganda ako dahil nakasurvive ako sa hirap ng buhay ko noon.
Ako si Inday AJ, sasagitin ka sa anumang panganib.
Ako si Inday Masoy, kakampi mo sa hamon ng buhay.
Ako po si Inday Darwin, hahasain ang inyong isip tungo sa magandang buhay. Inday will always love you.
Sa kanyang dala, sa kanyang mga papag, kasama tayo sa pag-ibig. Sa kanyang puso ay titibay tayo, tatataasipan tayo. Inday Sara, sa'yo lang umaasa.
Dito sa segment na Inday ng Buhay Ko, mapapakinggan natin ang kwento ng isang Dabawenyo na nakasama ni Mayor Sara Duterte sa trabaho. Siya lang naman ang naging Chief of Staff noong naging Vice Mayor at kinalaunan naging Mayor si Inday Sara. Tunghayan natin ang kwento ni Sir Lemuel Ortonio na ngayon ay Head ng Human Resource Management Office ng Davao City LGU. Panoorin po natin ito.
My very first encounter with Mayor was actually when we first met when I was hired for the position of Chief of Staff when she was the Vice Mayor of Davao City. There is a little bit of misconception of people thinking that because I used to be her Chief of Staff na meron na kaming prior relationship ni Mayor, but I underwent the usual process of interview, and then when I was finally hired for the position, I was asked to meet with her. That was 6 p.m. on a Monday. She requested me to go to her office, a Vice Mayor's office. I was thinking na at the time na i-interviewin pa ako ni Mayor Inday. But at the time, when I was there, she immediately took a paper bag nagaling from ilalim ng kanyang table, and she handed it over to me and said na, you review it over the weekend and then you report na kaagad. 3 logbook, she told me, review the contents of the logbook, study it, and then report immediately the following Monday. Having to meet the vice mayor of the city at the time was a little bit intimidating, but she made it a point na very relatable at the time. No? Hindi ka mag-iisip that she is the vice mayor because she was able really to put herself really well and gave instructions very clear at that very moment when we first met. Number 1 is her decisiveness as a mayor. When she makes a decision, it's a thorough and final decision. So that's what I admire about her. It's very thorough, very detailed before she comes up with a final decision. So you know na at the time that she will give you any instruction or if there is any advice to you, you really have to trust the wisdom behind it because Mayor Inday makes it a point that she makes any decision na thorough, detailed, and diligent when it comes to thinking what needs to be done. And also, as a leader, what I admire about her is that she lets her department heads come up with ideas in terms of implementation of projects. She does not micromanage. She allows department heads to do their thing, as long as it's a proper implementation of any project. So that's what I admire about her because you get to explore as a department head. You get to explore ideas, you get to explore programs, and she lets you do it. Matagal na, since 2007. While I always consider, in terms of hierarchy, I always see Mayor as a professional partner. But through the years that we've been together, I also consider her as a close friend also. So in terms of as a friend or as a person, what I really admire with Mayor Inday is her, how do I say this? Parang compassion with people, even if outside of work. That's one thing that I admire about her. And outside of work, she is very light-hearted. She's very light-hearted. After 5 o'clock and outside the confines of the 4 corners of City Hall, you will not feel like she is still your boss. No? She makes it a point na after 5 or outside of City Hall or outside of work activities, hindi mo na siya boss. So, that's what I also like about her as a person. But to Mayor Inday, I only have one simple wish for you, and I believe this is something that you have always wanted to achieve all these years now. I really wish that you will be able to fulfill your personal happiness. You have been in the public service for quite a long time already, and you have given your heart, your energy for the people here in Davao City. And I hope that in the future, you will really be able to fulfill the personal happiness that you really want to achieve.
Bago po tayo magpaalam, shoutout po muna sa mga grupong patuloy ang suporta kay Mayor Sara Duterte, Apo Bongbong Marcos at sa buong Uniteam. Let's Go Uniteam Coalition, Marcos Sara Duterte Alliance o MASADA, Inday Cares at iba't ibang BBM Sara Uniteam chapters sa buong mundo. At dyan po nagtatapos ang Sara SA4U ngayong araw ng Lunes. Maraming salamat sa iyong patuloy na pagsubaybay sa ating programa. Muli pong paalala, mag-ingat pa rin laban sa COVID-19, hindi lang para sa ating sarili, kundi para rin sa ating mga mahal sa buhay. Kaya always wear your face mask, observe social distancing, at magpabakuna o booster shot po tayong lahat. At sa ngalan ni Mayor Inday Sara Duterte, ako po ang iyong lingkod, puso at serbisyo, Tec Ocampo. At ito po ang Sara All4U.
Game na ulit ha!
ka sana. Ang panahong hinihintay natin ay eto na. Huwag kang matakot, huwag kang mangamba, pagkat nandito siya upang tulungan ng mga tulad nating sawa na sa puro pangakong napako. Alam ko na siya ay tapat, may malasakit sa tao.
Sara Zimmerman Duterte is a Filipino politician and lawyer. She is popularly known in the Philippines as Inday Sara. The nickname Inday means beloved in the Visayan language. In her baptism records, her name is Sara Vicenta, in honor of her grandfather, Vicente. She is the second child of Rodrigo Roa Duterte, the 16th President of the Republic of the Philippines, and Elizabeth Zimmerman Duterte, a former flight attendant and teacher. Sara is the first ever elected woman and the youngest vice mayor and mayor of Davao City. Her life is profoundly backdropped by her family's long history in politics and public service. Her socio-political acumen and leadership skills have been sharpened by the Duterte family's tradition of working in the government and serving the people. Sara's grandfather, lawyer Vicente Tete Gonzales Duterte, was governor of the then undivided Davao Province from 1959 to 1965. For 3 years, starting 1965, he served as the Secretary of General Services of former President Ferdinand Marcos. Before this, he served as acting mayor of Cebu's municipality of Danao from 1946 to 1948. Sara's Lolo Tete was a man remembered by many for his humility and magnanimity. Her grandmother, Soledad Gonzales Roa, was an educator who established a foundation in Davao City that served indigenous people's children needing education. On the other hand, Sara's maternal ancestry provided her with an acute understanding of the heart of the working class. Her maternal grandfather, Godofredo Baldazo Zimmerman, was the son of George John Zimmerman, a German-American missionary, and Cristita Baldazo, who hailed from Hilongos, Leyte. Her Lolo Godo worked his way up from crew to ship captain. Sara's grandmother, Purissima Puring Fortunado Abellana, was an exuberant popular vendor in Davao City's Bangkerohan and Manila's Baclaran markets. Puring's roots are traced back to Tuburan, Cebu, and is said to be a putative descendant of Hari Tupas, the son-in-law of Hari Humabon. Before politics, Sara had a brief stint as a court attorney in the Supreme Court of the Philippines in 2006. She then served as vice mayor from 2007 to 2010 and was elected mayor in 2010 in what is now known as the biggest landslide election victory in the history of Davao. Although a newcomer in 2007, Sara demonstrated transformational leadership skills among the members of the City Council. Her colleague, the veteran legislator Pilar Braga, described her as a firm, principled, tactful negotiator, pacifier, and fearless administrator. One of the landmark legislation passed when she was vice mayor was the Watershed Code of Davao. It aims to protect, conserve, and manage the watershed areas of the city. Her landmark project while serving vice mayor was Inday Para sa Barangay, a whole-of-government approach to service every year in each of the 182 barangays of the city. It is now called the Caravan of Government Services when she moved to the city mayor's office. During her term as mayor, the timeless Davao Life is Here brand was created. It propelled Davao City's image as a desired market and destination for investment and tourism events, including the meetings, incentives, conference, exhibitions market. As a neophyte mayor in 2010, she easily gained the trust of Region 11 economic pillars. Then President Benigno Simeon Aquino Jr. appointed her as chairperson of the Regional Development Council. The RDC under her leadership made notable accomplishments that propelled the region. She was also selected as a NEDA Board Regional Development Committee Mindanao Area Committee chairperson. During her first full year as RDC chairperson, Davao Region's gross regional domestic product expanded from 3.9% in 2011 to 7.1% in 2012. Because of this notable accomplishment, Sara was lauded by Joey Salceda, a prominent economist and well-respected member of the House of Representatives, as someone with an enlightened leadership style and sophisticated economic thinking. Under Sara's leadership, Davao City soared to greater heights and emerged as a premier city in Mindanao. For the short period of 2011 to 2013, Davao City received 36 awards, citations, and recognitions for good governance, business, tourism, health, environment, fiscal management, transparency, among others. Sara served as a regional officer of the National Movement of Young Legislators in 2007 to 2010 and served as officer in the National Executive Board of the League of Cities Philippines in 2010 to 2013. At this point, she already figured in the early surveys for senators in the 2013 elections, even if she was underage. In 2013, Sara took a respite from politics, devoting her time as one of the partner lawyers of Carpio and Duterte lawyers. She passed the pre-judicature program of the Philippine Judicial Academy in preparation for her plans to join the judiciary. Her desire to continue serving the public led her to be involved in a non-government organization, and in 2014, she was elected to the Board of Governors of the Philippine Red Cross. On the side, she worked on various product endorsements and as a segment host for a local morning news show on GMA Network. Her hosting job gave her the opportunity to volunteer, deliver relief, and report firsthand on the damage and the needs of the Boholanos during the 2013 earthquake. In 2016, Sara re-entered local politics and ran for mayor. She and her mother Elizabeth, who was in between cancer treatments, embarked on a national bus caravan called Biyaheng Duterte to help campaign for President Duterte. They were joined by some members of the family and Sara's friends and classmates from high school. Fresh from the success of the bus campaign, the centerpiece of her mayoral comeback was called Biyaheng Duterte, a political agenda guided by 30 projects for 10 priority sectors: education, health, poverty alleviation, infrastructure development, solid waste management and environment, agriculture, investment and tourism, traffic and transportation management, disaster risk reduction and management, and peace and order. As a believer of continuity, Sara's 2019 mayoral re-election bid was anchored on the 2016 platform, but this time called Biyaheng Duterte, the second trip. Sara relentlessly pursued peace and progress in her administration. As a result, she was able to lift Davao City to a stellar national status with 117 awards, citations, and recognitions from March 2017 to December 2021. Davao City is included on the 2021 Top 10 Richest Cities of the Philippines of the Commission on Audit. And in the same year, Davao City was ranked the 4th most competitive, highly urbanized city by the Department of Trade and Industry. At the end of calendar year 2022, Davao City is expected to be debt-free. At the start of 2016, when she returned as mayor, Davao City's loan balance was in the amount of 1.3 billion pesos out of all loans contracted by the city during the years 2000, between 2005 and 2010, and in 2015. Loan repayments have been consistently provided for in the budget. For the year 2022, the amount of 46.7 million pesos has been made available for the final repayment, making Davao City debt-free. During her terms as mayor between 2016 and 2022, she played supporting roles to the Regional Development Council and the Regional Peace and Order Council. Sara accepted the challenge of the appointment as chairperson of both the Metropolitan Davao Coordinating Committee under the RDC and the Task Force Tuganay of the RPOC. Both committees are trailblazing peace and development initiatives in Region 11. The Metro Davao Committee lists as an accomplishment the House of Representatives and Senate approval of the creation of Metropolitan Davao Development Authority. Sara has been recognized both here and abroad for the work that she has done as local chief executive. In 2012, she was one of the 88 nominees to the prestigious World Mayor Awards and one of the only 2 Filipino mayor nominees. In 2021, she was selected as the Philippines' top-performing mayor with a rating of 93% by an independent and non-commissioned survey of the RP Mission and Development Foundation, Incorporated. It was a feat achieved in the time of the crushing COVID-19 pandemic. Foreign governments have also recognized Sara for her work, generously supporting and inviting her to learn from their countries. She was one of only 2 Philippine mayors invited in 2012 by the government of Israel to attend the 28th International Mayors Conference. In that same year, she also participated in the World Mayors Forum in Singapore. In 2018, Sara participated in an urban planning study tour in the cities of Tokyo and Kitakyushu with the Japan International Cooperation Agency. And in 2020, she attended the 88th Winter Meeting of the United States Conference of Mayors in Washington, D.C. Sara is an alumna of the International Visitors Leadership Program of the U.S. State Department. Her advocacies are reflected in the projects dearest to her, the Peace 911, Magnegosyo Taday, Pagbabago Campaign, and the Kian Gabriel Hotline. Peace 911 is a successful local peace initiative that practically brought stability to the once conflict area of Paquibato District in Davao City. The project contributed to the collapse of the New People's Army Guerrilla Front 55. Magnegosyo Taday is a livelihood support project that encourages entrepreneurship of women. The success of MTD spawned the Rainbow Magnegosyo Taday that intend to support entrepreneurship in the lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transsexual community. The Pagbabago campaign is a 2-pronged approach to solving interlocking problems related to poverty, children's education, and responsible parenthood. Through the Pagbabago campaign, children and parents in the communities are given bags branded as Pagbabago that contain reading materials on the importance of education and responsible parenting. Sara personally delivers these bags to children and parents. She uses her voice and influence to steer families into the right path out of poverty. The Kian Gabriel Hotline was created to allow anonymous reporting of child neglect and abuse that paved the way to rescue children in distress. The hotline was created in memory of 2 children in Davao City who died because of abuse. Since its operationalization in October 2016 and as of January 2022, no child has died at the hands of abusers in the city. In 2018, Sara led the creation of Hugpong ng Pagbabago, a region-wide political party aimed at creating a strong, peaceful, and developed region that can become a symbol of hope for our country's progress. Just like in 2016, she also went around the country in 2019, but this time on her favorite big bike, a 900cc Yamaha XSR, she fondly named Ella to help campaign for senator candidates. In November 2021, Sara took her oath as a member of the Lakas Christian Muslim Democrats National Party. Sara is currently the chairperson of both the HNP and Lakas CMD. Sara is an adopted member of the Philippine Military Academy Maharlika Class of 1984 and the Philippine National Police Academy Tagapagkalinga Class of 1991. She is a member of the Philippine Coast Guard Auxiliary and the Armed Forces of the Philippines Army Reserve Command. She holds the rank of Colonel and is currently the Assistant Brigade Commander of the 2202nd Ready Reserve Combined Arms Brigade, Philippine Army. She has received several medals, ribbons, badges, and citations for her work in Davao in support of the Armed Forces of the Philippines. She also received a presidential award from former President Benigno Simeon Aquino Jr. and the Philippine Commission for the Urban Poor in December 2011. And in August 2021, Sara was celebrated by Asia Pacific Luminaire Awards as someone who has contributed to the creation of a brighter future. Sara is a Bachelor of Science in Respiratory Therapy graduate from the San Pedro College in Davao City. She received her Juris Doctor degree from the San Sebastian College Recoletos in the city of Manila. She was presented as one of the 30 most outstanding St. Augustine awardees of San Sebastian in January 2014 and was granted by the San Sebastian College of Law the Distinguished Alumna Award for Public Service in February 2020. She also received the Distinguished Woman of Service Award from the San Beda College Alumni Association in February 2011. Sara spent 4 years of law school at the San Beda and her final year in San Sebastian. Sara is a graduate in 2011 of the twin program of the Armed Forces of the Philippines Command and General Staff College, General Staff Course, and the Development Academy of the Philippines, Master of Public Management. Sara is blessed as an adopted member of the Ate tribe of Davao City in 2013. She was given the name Bio Simulun. She is also an adopted daughter of the province of Camarines Sur and the city of Tangub, and in 2019, she was blessed as an adopted daughter of the province of Abras Tingyan tribe, given the name Dulimaman, which was inspired from the courageous heroine in the tribe's epic Wadagan Ken Dulimaman. Sara was once involved in an infamous punching incident of a court sheriff in 2011. She has twice publicly apologized for what happened and was suspended by the Department of the Interior and Local Government and reprimanded through an administrative case. Looking back, she describes the sad incident as a turning point in her life as a politician, a constant reminder not to embarrass the mandate given to me by the people. She now considers herself the best person to talk about peace because she was once a national face of rage. Meanwhile, Sara has a collection of photos of herself with facades and altars of numerous Catholic churches taken during her travels all around the country. She is keenly interested in the architecture and history of Catholic churches, believing that each reflect the faith of the people and the uniqueness of the towns where these churches are built. She is married to fellow lawyer Manassas Reyes Carpio, and they have 3 children named Shark, Stingray, and Stonefish. Inday Sara is undoubtedly no magician, but the strength of her heart to lift everyone and soar high, fight, and win makes her second to none.